Coming up on Juice and Java, we have everything on the string of explosive devices sent to political figures across the country.
Plus, why NBC canceled Megyn Kelly's show and how many employees has Google fired for sexual harassment.
And we have weather correspondent Carmella Boykin here in studio to tell you about the storm you and your family could face this weekend.
Juice and Java starts now.
Hey, good morning, and thanks for starting with us. I'm Noah Eagle.
And I'm Rebekah Castor. Let's kick things off with the Morning Brew, all the headlines you need to know.
We have arrested Cesar Sayoc in connection with this investigation.
After at least 14 explosives appeared in the mail of various political figures this week, the man who is suspected to be behind them is in police custody. Both sides of the aisle condemn the actions that spread chaos across all parts of the country.
We must never allow political violence to take root in America. Cannot let it happen.
Meanwhile, the Saudi government came out this week and confirmed that former Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi died in a chokehold in their Istanbul consulate.
The wave of immigrants is continuing to work its way north of the U.S. border. They have faced almost no resistance from Mexico, and in response, the Secretary of Defense James Mattis has sent 800 troops to stop it. The president has continued to push for strong borders.
We cannot let people come into our country illegally. Just can't do it. Can't do it. You don't have borders, you don't have a country.
The president has also committed to ending the opioid crisis in America. Attorney General Jeff Sessions committed $10 million to end the crisis while also charging doctors with opioid-related crimes.
The department has charged 226 doctors, criminal offenses with opioid-related crimes.
And someone from South Carolina is now a billionaire. One lucky lottery winner was able to take home the second largest lottery payout of all time after Tuesday night's drawing.
And on campus, it's Parents' Weekend. A number of events are taking place throughout SU, but the big one comes tonight as the football team takes on the 22nd best team in the country, NC State.
This has been your Morning Brew. And a little more about that top story. The nation's still reeling from a string of explosive devices sent to prominent Democratic Party figures throughout the past week. Recipients of the suspicious packages include former President Barack Obama, the Clintons, actor Robert De Niro, and more. The event started on Monday when billionaire and outspoken right-wing critic George Soros became the first known target. The device contained several components for an explosive device, including powder, and at the time, it was not known that the package was a part of a much larger plan.
That's right. It was not until 2 days later that officials realized the package was not the only one of its kind. Wednesday morning, the Secret Service announced it had intercepted suspicious packages addressed to former President Barack Obama, as well as Bill and Hillary Clinton.
The New York police said none of the targets actually received the packages, as they were intercepted before they could be delivered to the actual address. Shortly after, CNN was covering the latest on these devices, only to realize a similar explosive was actually in their building. The entire time, Warner Center, which houses the CNN New York bureau, was forced to evacuate, causing the CNN anchors to actually interrupt their own newscast.
We're going to jump in. There's a fire alarm here.
You might have heard it in the background. We're going to find out what the latest is
we'll
here
be right back.
at CNN. We're going to be right back.
The building had to evacuate because of a package found in the center's mailroom. The newest target in this plot was former CIA Director John Brennan. The device ended up in the Time Warner Center because the sender addressed the package to CNN.
All four packages so far have held several similarities. They contained the same components of a bomb and listed the return address as former DNC Chairman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. A package had also been sent to Obama's Attorney General, but due to an incorrect address, it was sent back to Schultz in Florida.
And on Thursday, the package total continued to grow. 2 explosives were sent to former President Joe Biden's Delaware home, and another suspicious package went to actor and Trump critic Robert De Niro. Both have highly criticized President Trump and his administration in recent years.
So Mayor de Blasio joined members of the FBI and the NYPD in a briefing Thursday afternoon, and according to FBI Assistant Director William Sweeney, phone calls relaying tips to the organization increased by 139%. Although officials responded to questions, Sweeney stated that they couldn't divulge in all the information for the sake of the investigation. And on the same day, rumors were circulating that the person responsible was from Florida.
And an arrest in connection to the incident was finally made yesterday morning. Officials arrested 56-year-old Cesar Sayoc in a parking lot in Plantation, Florida. Sayoc was living out of a white van, which was covered in stickers denouncing Democratic Party figures and media outlets. Investigators tracked down Sayoc when they traced the packages to a packing center out of Miami.
Okay, so then they find the center, and then they use the DNA fingerprints samples along with the cell phone geolocation information to find the suspect. And according to Attorney General Jeff Sessions, Sayoc is being charged with 5 criminal counts related to the devices. If he's convicted, he will be in prison for 48 years.
While the Secret Service did not know of Sayoc, the suspect has been arrested for a series of events in his past. In 2002, he threatened to blow up a power company, stating it would be, quote, worse than the September 11 attacks.
Records tracing Sayoc's arrest include arrests for grand theft, battery, fraud, and drug possession, and more. Although Sayoc is now in custody, it's unknown whether more packages are in the mail. In fact, a 14th package was added to the grand total even after Sayoc's arrest. This recipient of the bomb was meant to be Democratic donor Tom Steyer.
So Noah, many of his coworkers that he's worked with in the past, several former employers, have come out and said that they're not surprised that it's him, the person that's been sending these packages. He's been reported as being very much of a loner. He was very politically adamant at work, always talking about politics, showing a lot of hatred for Democratic Party leaders. So people that know him, they're not surprised by this.
It stretches much further than that, though, Rebecca. It's not just the Democratic, it's not politically charged. He is a white supremacist. He's labeled as such. He said that he hates anyone who isn't white. He hates gays. He hates Jewish people. He hates literally anyone that isn't himself. And to me, that's a huge red flag. But what are we supposed to do? Just anybody who hates any sort of group, we're supposed to condemn them? It's a very tough situation. But of course, this one is something seen coming with that background, especially with all those arrests.
I mean, I completely agree. And, there's been a lot of outrage about how the media has covered this story. But at the end of the day, there are people that hate political leaders on both sides of the aisle. And you can't blame the Trump administration for this. But coming up after the break, how a man tried to steal the Magna Carta and why Megyn Kelly no longer has a career at NBC.
Stay with us.
Improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire. Hey guys, it's Smokey! It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch.
Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver. The one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Welcome back to News in Java. Let's delve deeper into this week's top stories with The Squeeze.
And we're going to start the squeeze with breaking news. Local police are reporting an active shooter in Pittsburgh synagogue. Police are advising everyone to avoid the area near the Tree of Life synagogue. A local media outlet is reporting 8 people are confirmed dead, possibly more. Among those shots are 3 police officers. The synagogue was full of people for a 9:45 service at the time of the shooting. A suspect is in custody, and this is a developing story. We'll have all the details for you on Citrus TV.
And now developments in the international incident involving journalist Khashoggi. Turkey is looking to extradite 18 Saudis in relation to the murder, but it doesn't look promising. Earlier in the week, Khashoggi's son left Saudi Arabia. He was summoned to receive condolences from the Crown Prince, the man thought to have ordered the assassination. He then left the country right before Turkey announced that the killing was premeditated, contradicting the previous claims that the journalist's death was an accident covered up by rogue operatives. Turkey also says they have audio evidence that proves Khashoggi's was murdered, evidence they reportedly played for CIA Director Gina Haspel.
So obviously we've heard a ton about this story, a ton about what actually happened to Jamal Khashoggi, but there was his final post that was posted on the Washington Post, and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. Basically, all it's asking is that the Arab government actually allows for free press and journalists to be free. And it's really sad when you think about that's all he was really asking for, and it actually cost him his life.
Yes, and it's a little bit of an eerie to kind of think about how that was the last thing that he wrote. And also, it just came out earlier yesterday that his fiance has declined President Trump's invitation to come to the White House and to talk about this issue because she does not think that the Trump administration is really going to try to pursue his case any further.
I mean, overall, just a very sad story, and rhetoric is heating up as growing migrant caravan of 7,000 people from Central America gets closer to the U.S. border. They plan to seek asylum in the United States, and under international law, claims have to be heard. However, earlier this year, Attorney Jeff Sessions announced that domestic and gang violence would not qualify as asylum claims. President Trump has warned that the United States is not willing to accept any of these migrants and has threatened to send 800 extra troops to make the border to make sure this happens. Even with these threats and Mexico offering visas and benefits to stay there, many in the caravan say they'll continue to the U.S.
And Noah, so yesterday, Vice President Mike Pence, he came out and said that he has intel that says that this migrant caravan group is actually being funded by leftist groups in Honduras. So I think this is a little bit misleading, like how this story is being covered, because you're being made to believe that this is just a whole random group of people that naturally all decided together as a group to enter the U.S. But they're actually, this whole story is politically inclined. They're being funded by a leftist organization in Honduras to come to the United States.
I understand what you're saying. You're taking someone saying that they have intel and you're taking that as a fact. I mean, there's no proof that there's actually intel behind that. So I understand that this is probably a politically inclined story, sure, but there's no 100% fact that that's true. And so I don't think
it was
you
the
can
Vice
jump to that.
President, so I don't think that Vice President Mike Pence would come out and say something that he wasn't sure was true. But in other news, first it's Hollywood, now it's Silicon Valley. Unhealthy industry culture is coming to the surface. On Thursday, the New York Times reported that Google had paid millions of dollars in exit packages to executives accused of misconduct, and they stayed silent about the men's transgressions. Andy Rubin, the creator of Android mobile software, was given a $90 million exit package in 2014, even after the misconduct accusation against him was proven to be true. Google is now facing criticism for keeping the accusations quiet and continuing to invest millions of dollars in Andy Rubin's future projects. Google is said to have done similar exit packages for 3 more male executives accused of misconduct.
So let's look at this story. Google, which is known as one of the best offices to work at. They have all the gadgets, all the gizmos, anything that you could want, any perk that you could want, and it's still an issue. It just shows you that no matter where you are, no matter what position you're in, this can catch you. And it's mind-boggling to me that someone in that high of a position could still be that careless with how they go about their daily life.
I mean, I think it's astounding kind of how careless Google was by paying him $90 million. That's an astounding number. That's an astounding number. They shouldn't have given him an exit package.
Then he would have sued.
He was proven, well,
He's under contract, is he
the
not?
accusation was proven to be true. So, I mean, if he had to be fired for something like that, I don't think there should have been any exit package included at all.
He's still under contract, so that's a difficult situation just based on the law. But from good morning to goodbye, Megyn Kelly today was canceled 3 days after she implied on the show that it was not inappropriate for white people to dress in blackface on Halloween, citing that black Back when she was a kid, blackface was okay as long as you were dressing up as a character, even though she apologized for her remarks in an email to co-workers and then on air. NBC has still decided that her comments were subject to her dismissal. Her lawyers and NBC are in the middle of her departure negotiations as she is only halfway through her 3-year, $69 million contract. Her exit could include a substantial payout as well.
So I know that it kind of seems like, I think that NBC is kind of using these comments that she made as the last straw to get Megyn Kelly out. You know, her ratings were really low, and you know, people think that it only has to do with this comment that she made about blackface, but really this has been a long time coming, and I think that NBC executives are just using this as the way to push her out.
Yes, there's been a lot building, but I mean, it doesn't matter if there was a lot building or not. This comment's absolutely unacceptable. I don't care what you've done or what you haven't done before this. If you say this on the air, then I think it's time for your dismissal regardless. That's an absolutely unacceptable comment. I don't care what year it is. I don't care when it is. That's not true, and that has never been true, and there's no reason she should be saying that on air.
I mean, her show's been controversial from the start, but someone with better luck, a lottery ticket sold in South Carolina, defied the odds in $300 million odds and won the Mega Millions lottery jackpot on Tuesday. The giant prize is $1.5 billion. The winner can then choose to break up the large amount into annual installments over 3 decades or take an $877 million cash payment. The winning ticket was purchased at a convenience store in the small town of Simpsonville, South Carolina. However, it is possible that the public will never know who won this jackpot because in South Carolina, lottery winners can remain anonymous.
Which is important because if I won the lottery, if you won say you won the lottery, I'd be like, hey, can I get a couple bucks?
I mean, I would 100% want to stay anonymous, and I think this person should stay anonymous because, like, you know, you hear the stories about people that win large sums of money and then, you know, they have all these people come after them, you know.
Right.
It could turn into, you know, a scary situation if his identity is found out, his or hers.
Well, if you won, what would you buy?
I mean, Noah and I talked about this earlier, so no one knows what I would say. If I had all that sum of money, I would probably do something with charity. I know that several organizations have already made statements that they're hoping that he'll donate to their charity in South Carolina.
Yeah, I would probably buy the world's largest teddy bear. A 45-year-old man was arrested for trying to steal a copy of the Magna Carta from Salisbury Cathedral on Thursday. The 803-year-old document is one of only 4 surviving original copies. Luckily, the document was not damaged and no one was injured during the incident as the man smashed 3 holes in the glass casing with a hammer. The Magna Carta has influenced many democracies around the world, including the U.S. Constitution and the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
So it actually came out this morning, Noah, that it was actually a group of tourists that helped the security guards at the cathedral stop the theft that was trying to occur.
Maybe make like a civilian's arrest?
Yeah, they saw the man go up to the glass case and they shattered it, and there was a husband and wife and several other tourists in a group, and they all linked together to stop the man from getting away so that the security guards could get him.
Was this man Nicolas Cage? That's my bigger question. Is this national treasure? I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence, but in a different democracy. That's really my question.
I just kind of want to know what he even wanted with it in the first place. It's not like you could sell it. I mean,
you could?
Maybe on the black market, but I don't know. But now you better clean your room and finish your homework. This weekend is family weekend here at Syracuse University, and if you're looking for some fun things to do with your family, bring them to the football game against North Carolina State tonight at 7 p.m. or go ice skating at Tennessee, hosted by Orange After Dark. You can also see the Christopher Robin movie for free, courtesy of University Union, or the Syracuse Stage's production of Possessing Harriet at 2 p.m. today and tomorrow. And on Saturday, families can attend an a cappella performance at Shine Student Center at 1 p.m.
I love how you started that. Make sure your room's clean. My room's a mess because
room's
neither
also
of my
not clean.
parents are here right now. So
My
I'm just
parents
going to
are
keep
also
all my
not
clothes
coming.
on the floor at the moment. I didn't even make my bed this morning. I'm wild. But with that being said, all those seem like really great options to do. I'll be at the football game because that's going to be a really good game against NC State, who just came off their first loss of the season. We'll see if Syracuse can become bowl eligible for the first time since 2013.
Yeah, that would be wild. And, you know, Noah and I are seniors, so our parents don't come back for Parents Weekend as much. But I think this weekend is definitely very special for freshmen and sophomores and the other underclassmen here on campus. And I hope that everyone has a great weekend with all the events that Syracuse University has planned.
Yeah, Parents Weekend is always a fun one. And coming up after the break, weather correspondent Carmella Boykin tells us how storms might affect your Parents Weekend. You can keep it here.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me, Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. If you and your family were expecting a sunny Parents' Day weekend, well, have to rain on your parade.
Carmella Boykin is here to tell us what we can expect from the weather this weekend.
Thanks, guys. As you said, if you've been here, if you've been out, you've noticed it's been super overcast, it's been drizzly, and if you take a look outside at our quad cam, we're seeing pretty much the same thing. It's drizzly, it's overcast, and that is because of what we like to call a nor'easter. Now, you may have heard of this before. If you take a look at my next slide, a nor'easter is a strong area of low pressure on the East Coast. It usually starts at the bottom and moves its way up. It's characterized with It's powered by powerful winds coming up from the Atlantic, and it's usually associated with snow, but because we don't have those freezing temperatures right now, we're not going to see that, thank goodness, just yet. But we are going to see a lot of strong winds and heavy precipitation. If you take a look at the radar, you can see the storm, it started down by Mexico, but thanks to Hurricane Willa, it caught up a little bit of precipitation, and then it moved its way up the coast. And then if you take a look a little bit closer, you can see the storm is moving its way north. Around Syracuse, we're just going to see a lot of wind and rain. But as you get up to the top of Vermont, New Hampshire, and the Montreal area, that is where the snow comes in. But it's the strongest around the Boston area. That means that we're going to have a flood warning. So along the coast of New Jersey, Long Island, New York, the entire coast of Connecticut, basically Rhode Island, and Cape Cod, those are all under flood warning. So if you're going to be doing some traveling this weekend, make sure that you put some extra time in for travel, for any obstructions in the road, heavy rainfall, low visibility. That also means we're going to have a lot of strong wind speeds. There's going to be the strongest in Boston, as it's closest to the coast. It's going to be 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. And then as we move inland, we're going to have 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts in Hartford, and moving into Scranton, those are definitely going to lighten up. So what does that mean for us? Here right now, it feels like 29 degrees, but it's 37 degrees outside, and it's rainy. Wind speeds are at 12 miles per hour, and as we move through game day for tailgating, around 1 p.m., it's going to be 38 degrees. It's going to warm all the way up to 39 degrees at 4 p.m., and then at kickoff at 7 p.m., it's going to be back to 38 degrees. It's going to be consistent rain all day, so if you're headed out, you know that you're going to need the same type of equipment that you may have for right now, which is nice. And we're going to have 12 mile per hour wind speeds all day. And if you take a look at tonight, it's going to drop down to 36 degrees. It's going to feel like 28, so it's definitely going to be chilly. And again, 12 mile per hour wind speeds. And as we look into tomorrow, if your parents are still around, 9 a.m. is going to be 37. It's going to be showers, though, instead of rain. So we're going to have intermittent periods instead of rain throughout the entire day. That'll be nice if you got to bring big packs of ramen up to your dorm or something. Around noon, it's going to be 39, and 6 p.m., it's going to be 42 degrees. But it's also going to be a tad warmer. And if you take a look at our 5-day forecast, you'll notice it's looking a little bit bleak. We've got rain throughout the entire week. On Sunday, it's going to be 42 degrees, but the silver lining is as the week progresses, we're going to hit 55 degrees. But my best recommendation for you to get through is we're all just going to have to channel our inner Gene Kelly and start singing in the rain to help the week breeze on by.
Wow, Carmella, this is a really rainy week, and we have super cold temperatures as well. What's the possibility that any of this rain could turn into snow?
Well, thankfully, yet we're not going to have any snow. But if you're traveling up to Vermont, Montreal, those types of areas, they're definitely going to see some flurries.
I know Rebekah was looking forward to some snow, but thank you, Carmella. I really appreciate it. And coming up after the break, if you haven't had time to get your Halloween costume, we're here to help. Morning correspondent Gabrielle Caracciolo shows us how to create some last-minute, cheap Halloween costumes. Stay with us.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. With October ending soon, Halloween is right around the corner.
And if you don't have time to get your costume yet, don't worry. Correspondent Gabrielle Caracciolo is here to give us some tips on how we can make cheap DIY last-minute costumes. I see that you've already said some stuff. First of all, I'm going to just get ready here. Whew! Get the iPad out of the way.
So the first thing I like to do, think of your favorite things. What do you want to be for Halloween? So I thought of my favorite thing and figured I could make you guys into Juice and Java for Halloween.
I love it.
So Noah, I'm going to have you be our Juice because I know you're not a coffee person.
Good.
And then Rebekah is going to be our Java. So the first thing you want to do when you have a costume like this is get a t-shirt that is like the right color for whatever you're going to be. So Noah, we have this orange t-shirt.
I love orange.
Here for you. And then Rebekah, you're going to be a cup of coffee. So it's a white t-shirt, and then we have some kind of brown felt pieces that are going to be that coffee sleeve for the cup of coffee.
Okay.
So I also took the liberty of cutting out some of these pieces of orange. So Noah, you can kind of get started. There's glue here. Glue them wherever you want.
That's very general. I might glue one onto you by accident, but I'll try my best.
We'll see what happens. And then Rebekah, with these felt, you're going to want to wrap them around the shirt and do the same thing, gluing it just like you would see on a cup of coffee.
Okay, so around the shirt.
Yes.
So is this a good way to start right there?
Yeah, this is a good way to start.
Okay.
And just get some glue on it and you can get going. And while you guys are doing that, do you guys know what the #1 costume for 2018 is?
Gotta be Fortnite.
Wow, on the first guess, Noah got it. It is Fortnite.
I know what I'm talking about. I'm one with the people.
Do you know #2?
Maybe something political?
It's actually Spider-Man this year.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is political.
Okay.
Well, that's a little surprising because I don't think there's been the Spider-Man movie didn't come out like this year or anything. It was definitely.
And then #3, we actually have a unicorn. So those are kind of some more generic costumes.
People like to call me a unicorn because, you know, I'm something they've never seen before, so.
Okay. Yeah, and so then, Rebekah, I'm actually going to help you. The other part of your costume is we're going to make you a little headband with the top of a coffee cup. And this is really easy. All you need to do this at home is get a headband, go to the store when you're getting your own cup of coffee and just grab an extra top, and then you can just take some tape and tape the top for your coffee cup onto a headband. It's really easy and really quite adorable.
So, Gabrielle, what are you being this year for Halloween?
So, I really like these costumes, so I might have to steal one when you're done, but I think that I actually like the idea of the unicorn. I know a lot of people are going to be doing that because it is #3 for 2018, but I love unicorns. What about you?
You know, well, my friends and I actually, we're doing a group costume. So there are 8 of us. So we are doing the 8 Ivy League schools.
Nice.
Very nice, very nice. Well, Gabrielle, this stuff is awesome. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, as always.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to keep finishing this, but that's all we have for Juice and Java this morning. I'm Rebekah Castor.
And I'm Noah Eagle. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.